The Horrible Gamers podcast may contain content not suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised.
Spotlight of the month. I have with me Wingman709 of this Xbox Live podcast, and I'm going to spotlight him. Wingman, you are my first candidate for this show. So basically, people, the spotlight is going to be it's just a show about a person that's in our community. So it could be anybody. It could be any person that plays games in our community. People that are a part of our community can come on here and talk about themselves for a bit, you know. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Wingman today. Wingman709. Mark. Welcome, Wingman. I appreciate you coming on and making the time to be on this show.
Thanks. It's not every day I get to be a guinea pig.
Yeah, you're my first one. We kind of just came up with that name here on the spot. But guys, we are going to talk about Wingman. So Wingman, I know you've been part of the Horrible Gamers community for the longest time now. You literally were there on, I think even before we started this show, right? You were like one of the people we talked to before we started it. Weren't you?
Yeah, how come I don't have founder status? What the heck, man? You guys always give Sean founder status, and it's like, dude, it's like, you guys came to me going, hey, what do we do? How do we do this? And,
yeah. Yeah, well, Sean was actually part of the show. That's why, man, you got to be part of the show, man.
I can't do 5-hour podcasts. I just can't.
Yeah, last game, that Game of the Year show, we were on Skype for 7 hours. Can you believe that? 7 hours.
With you guys, I do. I don't know how you guys could do it.
We got on at 5. We ended at midnight my time. It was insane.
Wow.
It was insane. And then. So you think about that, we were on Skype for 7 hours and we had to cut 2 hours. It was pretty crazy.
Wow.
But with that being said, Wingman, so I want to know about yourself. So first off, let's start off with what got you into gaming? What was the thing that made you want to be a gamer? What was that moment in your childhood or in your adult life even that you realized, I'm a gamer? I'm a gamer. I'm going to call myself a gamer because I'm a gamer.
Interestingly enough, my first system was the Atari 2600. I got that one year for Christmas, and that was really my introduction to. I used to play games at the arcade. I was actually I was a bad child. My mother was a single parent, and I would actually go in and steal money out of her purse so I could go down to the convenience store and pop quarters into the arcade machines. Yeah, and she knows about this to this day, so she's aware of it. She still can't believe I did that, but because she's like, you were such a good kid. Like, what you know about. But yeah, I used to play. They were fun. I enjoyed them. I wasn't like, I don't know. It was just, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed playing the games. And then I got the Atari, and I really loved that. But really through my whole life, even into adulthood, I would play games here and there. Never was really like I had a 2600. I think my next console really was, well, I had a NES at one point, but I really don't remember much about it other than Castlevania, Duck Hunt, and Mario. Like, that's all I really remember. I wasn't a huge gaming kid. I really didn't like, oh, I want this game for Christmas. I want that. I don't know. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like my life, which it now seems to be. But it really was the Xbox 360. That's where I got sucked in, where I truly became a gamer at that point. So it was not till, and the 360 was even out for a while. I wasn't like even into it. I had an original Xbox, and I was like, yeah, this is okay. But I'm like, I got all these games. I never play them, and I was actually a beta tester for Xbox Live. I actually had the gamer tag Wingman without the number, and then I never used it, and I just didn't play it. I'm like, why am I paying for this? So I dropped out, and several years later, I went back on the 360, and it just, oh man, that console captured me unlike anything else.
Wow.
And I have been a massive gamer since then.
So the Xbox is what got you hooked on the 360?
Yeah, it was really, I mean, and before then, I did play a lot of PC games.
Yeah.
I played with friends. We'd lug the machines, friggin' 29-inch monitors. You're hauling around, trying to set in your front seat, trying to jam it in the door, seat belting the thing in, throwing your back out because those things weighed a ton, hauling this big tower. I remember I had this special thing that, like this carrying case, it wrapped around your tower, and it had all these pockets. So you could put your keyboard, your power, cables, your mice, and you could just pick the thing up. And like your games, everything was attached to it. You're carrying your tower around and your big old monitor, and you'd go over to a friend's house and connect everything, spend 3 hours trying to hook everybody up and get everybody seeing each other, and then the gaming would begin. And we played like Ghost Recon. Mm-hmm. We would play Battlefield 2 a lot. I loved Battlefield 2. I was huge into Battlefield for that version. I played that a lot. And but really, it was the whole 360 that just like, man, I'm every day type, like gaming every day, which is like, if I don't game right now, it's pretty like, okay, I didn't see Wingman online today. Something must be wrong. It's just like, I'm on every day, and that's almost a sad thing to say, but
no,
I think
most of us are on every day, right? Like, I think I would say most of the community is on quite a bit, at least twice a week, 3 times a week. That's awesome.
Yeah, but I think I might qualify for that gaming addiction you guys were talking about in your last show.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm going to probably be one of the qualifiers for that.
Gaming addiction. Yeah, the new disease of the century, the gaming addiction, right? Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm for myself personally, I kind of, I've always kind of been a gamer, but I'm like you, where I really got caught into the gaming was the Xbox, kind of the PS2 era. I was kind of there. I was almost there, but not really there. I mean, I would still, I could turn off the console and walk away and not really miss it. I could do other things. But when the 360 came around, that's what hooked me. I was like, all I want to do is play games. All I want to do is play games. But I did enjoy, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the PS2. On the Xbox original, I used to play a lot of the NCAA games, the football games. Those were really fun. Hitman was really good on that console. Lots of games were good on that console. The original Halos were good on there. They were just fun, right? Yeah. And but yeah, I mean, the 360, I don't know what it was about it. I don't know if it was just the aspect of Xbox Live where you could just connect with like millions of gamers around the world and just have this like pool of people you can just play with all the time. Like, it didn't matter, like you didn't have to invite your friends over to play at your house. You didn't have to do none of that. Just like, oh, I got all these people online I could just game with. That was really cool. And I don't know.
Yeah. And I think not only like Xbox Live becoming integral, like an actual part of the console, where on the original Xbox, it wasn't, from what I remember, and I could be wrong, but it seems to me that it was like you would go into a game and that would have an online component which went through Xbox Live. But like that was it. Like there wasn't. You didn't have a store. You didn't go into a store. You didn't have games on the arcade that you could just download. And this one did. And you had friends lists, and you can send messages and voice messages, and you could party up and talk with friends while you're gaming. And then they introduced achievements, which really hooked me too in a big way. For a long time, longer than I like to admit, I got sucked into that world of achievement hunting and stuff. And then Live just being built into the system, so that look at these arcade games. Ooh, I want to buy this, and what? I don't have to run out to the store. I can buy it right now and play it in a few minutes. Also, the other big attraction for me on the 360 was I was coming from the PC world, and it was like, wow, you mean I put this disc in this tray, and I hit play, and I'm playing? Wait, don't I have to install it? Don't I have to download a 3 gig patch? Don't I have to deal with driver updates and, audio card updates and all this? It's just, all that stuff was gone. It was to me, it was like plug and play. It's like, this is what gaming is supposed to be. And that's why I still to this day don't like PC gaming. Yes, you get the greater visuals and all that type of stuff, but Xbox gaming, it just works. Now it's even easier. I don't have to put a disc in. I say, buy this, it downloads and installs it. And now I can even start playing before it's even installed all the way. I mean, I never have to update a driver. I never have to, do all this stuff. It just works. And that was one of the things that I loved about the 360 that really is like, okay, am I going to buy Battlefield on the PC or on the Xbox? Xbox.
Yeah.
I won't have to deal with all the stuff. So,
for sure.
I just like stuff simple. And especially now that I'm getting older, it's got to just work, man, because I just can't figure anything out anymore.
I know you recently bought a gaming PC this year, but you don't consider yourself a PC gamer, right? Like I noticed that you don't really play games on there.
No, I don't. I bought it. I wanted it just in case. I kind of wanted to have the ability to play on it, but I've tried to play. I do own PUBG on the PC, and I tried to play it, and I was just like, man, I can't do mouse and keyboard. I used to own one on. I mean, I used to just was really good. I was one of those people on Call of Duty on PC that people would say I was hacking or cheating.
Yeah.
Because I was that good. I just, again, it's like, and I'm always, kills me when I watch these people on PUBG. Oh, they're hacked. Every time they get killed, it's always either the game's fault, lag, or someone's hacking. It's so rare to see someone go, wow, that guy played really well. It's always like, oh, they're hacking, or he's using an aimbot or something. It's sometimes it happens. I've seen a lot of that on the PC lately. I've been watching guys play, and I'm seeing what they're doing. But a lot of times, and you can always tell because it's the guys that like won't go back and review the gameplay. They're the ones they're just. Yeah. It's all just that they suck. Or someone was just better. I mean.
Yeah, PUBG's banning a lot of people. I mean, that's but playing on 360 was cool, man. I loved a lot of things about that console. There was a lot of things I loved about it. Just the way it looked, the way it played, the way the controller felt. Everything just felt so good for me.
Oh yeah. That controller.
Compared to the PS3 and just the network itself, the PS3 network was shit. I know people tend to say, oh, well, the PS3 wasn't too bad. It wasn't too horrible, but it was pretty bad. I mean, I remember playing certain games on there like Mag, and there was just lag everywhere. You're like, oh, dude, lag, and those updates. Every game would take 10 hours to update or 7 hours to install. You're like, what? 7 hours? You telling me you have to install for 7 hours?
I think I had that recently when I first got my PS4 Pro. Seems to me the first time I pulled out of the box, and I think I took a screenshot and posted this. I'm like, this can't be real. It seemed to me it came up and said something like 400 hours or something. I was like, what? All right, this is going back in the box. We're taking this back to the store. I kept it. I still have it, but it's. I don't use it anymore. I just don't. It was a waste of money. I bought it a year ago, and I shouldn't have done it.
Do you not really? What is it about you? I mean, I know that you have an Xbox podcast and you tend to be an Xbox gamer, but what made you gravitate towards that? I know a lot of people made the switch from 360 to PS4 just because of the power factor and also the price. I mean, when the game console first came out, it was $100 cheaper than the Xbox One. What made you stick with the Xbox? Was it just because of the community that you had, the podcast? What was it, Wingman?
So you mean from the 360 to the One? Why did I go to the One and not the PS4?
Yeah, I mean, why didn't you go to the PS4? You know, why did you stay with the One?
I stayed Xbox because I love the brand. I love the brand. I love the games. I absolutely love the controller on the 360, and I think the Xbox One has improved. I think it's even a better controller. And I've always liked the dashboards all the way through. Everything they did on the 360 from the original Blades to the new dashboard experience or whatever they called it. I always liked it. I liked everything they did. And I had a PlayStation 3 and I hated it. Like, I didn't like their dashboard. I could never figure out how to do anything. It was like, to me, it was like they made it overly complicated to do stuff that on the Xbox, it was just like, oh, go here, boom. It was kind of like, I feel like phones today. Our phones don't come with any kind of manual.
They don't. Well, I mean,
really
they
don't
do
need one anymore.
But you don't really need one. No one reads
you really
them.
don't. You can just pick it up and work it. It just kind of. The only thing I need is like, what do all these icons mean? I wish they would tell you that somewhere. But I mean, when I first got the Apple iPhone, it's just like, okay, well, this just works. It's kind of duh, and that's to me the way the Xbox dashboard always is. It's just, well, how do I find my friends? Now it's getting a bit more complicated, I'll say. I'm nowadays, I'm like, okay, where did they move it? Because they keep changing things.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, where'd you put that? But I always hated the PS3, and then the PS4 dashboard, it's like the same thing. And I have both, and I don't like the PS4 either. And there's things on, and I hate their controllers. I absolutely hate their controllers, and I always have. Now the PS4 is better.
Yeah,
it's the best one that they've ever made, and it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hate the thumbsticks are together. I like the offset on the 360.
Yeah.
To me, that is more natural than having them tight together. But there are some great games on the Sony system. In fact, things I have played on my PlayStation 4. When I got it, I think the reason I got it was because I had taken my PS3, plugged it back in, and it's like, oh, I own Infamous, and I'd never played it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it free back when the whole the PSN got hacked.
Yeah,
and they're like, "We're sorry that you were compromised. Here's a free game." Gee, thanks. That'll save my credit.
Yeah, for sure.
So I actually booted it up, 10 years later, and I was like, "Wow, this game's awesome!"
Yeah.
And I got hooked on it. And then I played Infamous 2, and then I played Infamous. There was some blood. Something with vampires and everything around blood. It was like this DLC, and I was hooked on that. And then it's like, oh, the next Infamous is on PS4. So I got my PS4 and I bought that one, and then I bought the DLC or that camp add-on or whatever that was just the girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that game. Infamous rules. I've also enjoyed the Uncharted series. Those are games I wish were multi-platform. I wish I could play those on the Xbox because they are fantastic. I absolutely love them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really about all I play on that platform is Uncharted and Infamous.
Wow.
I've tried Last of Us. I didn't like it. And it was more of a control thing. Like I was very early in the game and I couldn't get past a certain section. I just felt like this game is stacked against me. No, I'm just. You try over and over and over and over, and you can't get past something. You're like, forget it, I'm done.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn, I bought that. I got all the way right now in that game. I'm at the point where I can go and complete. I'm at the very end where it's like, make sure you're ready to go before you go on to the final part of this game. And I'm like, I really don't even care to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I didn't really enjoy that game. I basically was playing it kind of out of boredom and like also kind of like, well, I just bought this new console. I got to play something on it.
Yeah.
But then I got to the point at the end of it, and I'm like, I don't even care to finish this. I just won't.
Wow.
So
some people made that their game of the year.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing looking game.
People really liked it.
I think the problem with me was I had just recently fully completed Far Cry Primal.
Yeah.
And to me, this is like the same game. It really, it has so much of the same stuff. It's like Far Cry Primal, except the animals are robots. It's like, I know there's other differences, but that's on a very generic basis. But it really felt like, so when I'm at 40 hours into Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm like, man, I've been playing this game for 120 hours because, I had 80 hours of Far Cry Primal right before it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why. But
so you got bored of it.
But yeah, I don't knock Sony. I really don't. On our show, yeah, we'll say stuff, but it's more of in good jest. Like I said, I have a PS3 and a PS4. I own 2 PlayStations.
Yeah.
I just don't. So
Yeah.
we've got Nintendos in our house. I've got 3 Xbox Ones, a couple Xbox 360s, and an Xbox original. I mean, we've got a lot of consoles. So we're gamers. I'm a gamer. I'll play on PC. I play on my phone. I play on my Surface tablet. Wherever I can play. It's a gamer, and I don't really care what people take for a platform.
Yeah. Some people, I know some listeners of yours tend to say that, they get mad at you if you even say something good about Sony. I know that you've at times said good things about them. Maybe their E3 conference was better than Microsoft's, or maybe, that game looks better than what Microsoft showed, etc. And I know people have got on you before because of that. They yell at you, they email you, they send you voicemails, they leave bad reviews. I seen it. People get mad.
Yep.
How do you handle that? How do you handle, being a podcaster for a certain platform and just that platform? I mean, what happens if Xbox goes away? What happens to this Xbox Live? Yeah.
It changes I don't know. Maybe we'll just go away. maybe we'll all retire like Brun just did. But I don't know. It's might move on to something else or give up podcasting if that were to happen. The thing is again, we've always said sometimes we will kind of rip Sony, but for people who do listen to our show, we rip into Microsoft a lot more than we rip into Sony. I mean, that's the honest truth. And people will get mad at us when we say something negative about Microsoft or the Xbox. But the thing is, we're called This Xbox Life. This is the whole show is intended to talk about that platform because all 3 of us on that host that's where our main gaming is. Even though we game on other platforms, that's kind of the main one we really like a lot. And we're so passionate about it. I think myself probably more than the other guys. Brun gets pretty passionate too, but it's because I love the platform. It's because I want it to be the best, and I get really frustrated when stuff doesn't work or things aren't going as they should be or as they're advertised. You guys were talking about, people are hating on Microsoft because, the Xbox One X truly isn't backwards compatible like they claim it is because it doesn't work with the Kinect. BS. It does because my Kinect is hooked up to my Xbox One X and has been from day one. Yeah. It does. So just the fact that someone decided not to put the money to get an adapter doesn't mean it doesn't work. So it's just like, so now I'm hardly gonna defend Microsoft. And if no one's buying them, why are they gonna sell them and the Kinect is going away? I mean,
those things are.
It's a dumb argument. It really is a dumb argument. But I think that's just the Sony guys, the Sony ponies, just trying to drum up any kind of negativity towards Microsoft because the Xbox One X has really nothing negative about it. It has come out of the gate, proven itself. It's done everything and more that they said it was going to do. And it's an awesome system. So
it's done a whole lot. Yeah. So I have a few other questions for you, Wingman. I mean, real quick, I have a question for you from one of my co-hosts, Gunny Chief. Actually, he's sending me questions to ask you. He wants to get you riled up. He says.
Oh, gee.
He says, real quick, do you believe or do you think that Microsoft will have a World of Warcraft style or Dota game, like a Dota 3 type of game debut on the Xbox current console or any kind of future console that they have planned? Because, they keep talking about this mouse and keyboard support coming to the console for certain games. I know Minecraft, I think, already has it. I know they said no to PUBG, or they're thinking about it. They don't know how they're going to do it yet. They're trying to figure that one out. I don't know if they will. If they're going to actually do that, I don't know. They're crazy if they do, I think, but
Yeah.
they might try it. They might have like a certain specific game mode for that. But do you believe that like a World of Warcraft type or Dota type game will come to the console? Xbox specifically. Or, I mean, even PlayStation at this point.
I don't see why it couldn't. Yeah. I really don't. I mean, this Xbox is more powerful than, PCs today that are required to run WoW. I mean, this thing could easily, and everything's in the cloud. They can, most of that stuff can be done on the back end. And I think 2018's E3, I am really excited for this next E3 because I think that Microsoft is finally going to, I hope, and I think that this E3, they're finally going to be the winner. I think they're going to come out the gate. It's going to be all game. The Kinect is gone. It's dead. The console is out. So they don't have to. I mean, last year it was all about launching of the Scorpio, and still letting the S be in there and talking about original Xbox games. I think Phil Spencer's done an amazing job with this platform, and now we're to the point where it's like, okay, we've got all our hardware, we've got everything in place. Now we got to go out for the last thing that we need to do, and we need to get the games. Now we have every third-party game is equal, right? Comparatively to Sony. But Sony is known to have all the exclusives. And, Microsoft has them, but not as many. And I know Phil has said he doesn't like to go out and get those exclusives and make it. But I think he said that, and I understand where he's coming from. He's a gamer himself. He wants everybody to be able to play stuff without segmenting or saying, oh, you can't play with your friends because you don't have this console type of thing. He just wants to, I like his vision, but it's also not a reality, or I don't think it's feasible in today's world because people pick alliances, and your competition is nailing down exclusives. Microsoft's got to get back to doing that.
Yeah.
I really kind of think that they're gonna, if they can do it, it wouldn't surprise me to see them come out at E3 and saying that PUBG is an Xbox Windows exclusive, period.
Wow.
I wouldn't expect that. I believe that they will try to purchase PUBG and make that a first-party studio.
That'd be something, right? I mean, that's a huge game to secure to the console.
Over 3 million players on Xbox alone, and that game just launched 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
4 weeks has it been? So in 4 weeks, they've had 3 million players. That's huge, and that's game preview. That is not a retail release. The game had 13 million people on PC before it was released just this past month.
Yeah,
it's huge, and you're getting copycats.
The question is, if they do buy it, I mean, that's a huge amount of money they're going to have to put down. I mean, I'm looking right now at some news here, and this is from September of 2017, even before it came out on Xbox. I'm pretty sure it's higher now, if anything. But PUBG developer Bluehole Incorporated is valued over $4 billion. That's a lot of money.
Microsoft has money.
Yeah, they do.
They've got crazy. It. That's the thing. They've got it more than Sony does. Sony as a company is hurting, with the exception of the PlayStation division. Mm-hmm. That's the only place that's making money for Sony.
Yeah,
and I think they do something with insurance that might be positive for them too. But all the other electronic divisions are, bankrupt basically.
Yeah.
So and Microsoft is profitable pretty much across the board. So, and they got a lot of money, so they could easily afford it if they see value in not only PUBG but also what else they can do with that. I mean, think about it. PUBG, you've got all those people playing. You could take something like that and do like what you said, build some kind of MMO, maybe build with that same type of company or something. PUBG Online, there's a Call of Duty Online, which is like I think it's only in China right now, but maybe Microsoft will come back and bring that over to the Xbox only. Go back and get those Call of Duty. As much as people say it sucks, Call of Duty is still the best-selling game every year.
Yeah.
It's and I will say World War II is actually pretty fun, and I'm loving the multiplayer. I started playing that the other day, and I was like, whoa. I felt like it felt to me like it was back to like Call of Duty, like what it was. Like the last couple I have hated, and this one is fun again. I was like, sweet. But yeah, to answer his question, yes, I do believe that a World of Warcraft type of game could very easily come to the Xbox platform.
So, and another question I have for you: there's a new feature coming to the Xbox One that's a family, or the Xbox One family, that includes a Do Not Disturb and Away status. How do you feel about that? Do Not Disturb status on your profile, like don't disturb me, don't bug me right now. I'm playing.
I think that's not too bad, because if say you're watching a movie, like we go up and I'm in the family room and I'm watching, because everything's digital now. Like we watch our movies as a family. We'll rent from Vudu or from Microsoft Movie Store or something like that. Or we're watching Netflix or whatever. It's nice to have the notifications turned off, but you got to go turn your notifications off, and you got to go digging into settings to do that, and then you got to remember to turn them back on when you get done with your movie. So just having the option to just say, somehow make it simple, say do not disturb, and then it shuts your notifications off, and then it lets your friends know, at this point, don't send him a game because he's not going to be able to join you. I like that, because then it lets you know. So, Jesus, you don't keep sending me an invite and I'm not answering because I'm watching a movie. Then you're like, Wingman's ignoring me, that jerk. I'm not ignoring you. I'm watching a movie. Yeah. I may have notifications turned off. So, I think it's cool. And if you don't want it, you don't like it, then don't use it. So that's the thing. It doesn't affect you if you don't want to use it. Don't use it. If you don't like it, don't use it.
Awesome.
But if you see benefit, there it is.
Yeah, I'll definitely see a benefit to it. I mean, I tend to watch a lot of movies on my console, Netflix, Amazon, all that. And I believe, like you, that it will be a good feature for that, I hate when people invite me to games when I'm watching Netflix. I'm like, come on, man. I'm watching Netflix right now. I don't want to play a game,
They should put a status out, too, that says something like, something that lets people know, like, so if I see you playing PUBG and I'm like, man, Jesus, I want you to come join me in Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever, I could say, there's a status going, like, would let me know that you're willing to quit your game to jump into anything else if somebody wants,
Yeah.
That would be kind of like, because I'm like, who's playing PUBG? And I'll look through my list, and I'm only sending invites to people that are playing that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other people like might be willing to quit their game and join, but I don't like to disturb them or hit them up with something when they're playing something else.
For sure. Yeah. That does
Microsoft,
happen.
make that happen.
Make it happen. Make it happen. So, Wingman, more questions for you. Lots of questions. These are questions for Wingman here. So, what is your game now that keeps you gaming? What is the game that has you right now hooked currently on gaming? Like for me, I could easily say PUBG, because I'm like, every time I turn on my Xbox, I look at all my games and I'm like, I just want to play PUBG. I don't want to play Star Wars. I don't want to play The Witcher. I don't want to play. I mean, even though like I just bought the season pass for The Witcher on the sale for the Xbox. And I really haven't finished that game. I'm like probably still in the beginning of it. I would say I'm maybe a quarter of the way through the game. And I just, for some reason, the game, there's times where I go in there and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm loving this. This is fucking awesome. And then like, all of a sudden, I'm just like, this is boring. I don't want to play this. I get bored. I don't know what it is. Yeah. But PUBG is the game that has me gaming. Like, that is the game for me at the moment. What is your game, Wingman?
I'm almost embarrassed to say this, and you probably know because this is all I've talked about the last 2 weeks on our show. I have Assassin's Creed I started that I liked. I got Call of Duty that I like. I got Forza 7 that I like. I've got Fortnite, PUBG, several others that are, AAA titles that I enjoy, love, and want to play. I can't stop playing Gems of War.
Yeah, I hear that.
I'll sit here and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna dive back into Call of Duty, and I'll come down here to my gaming my office, my game room, and I'll sit down and I'll turn it on and I see it, Gems of War, because it was the last thing I played, and I was like, and I just click it.
Yeah.
Forget everything, and I'll sit there. I could sit and play that thing for hours on end. It's just there is something about it that I'm just wow. I can't stop playing it.
Yeah, I noticed that you're always playing that game. I saw Brum playing it. I saw Brum playing it the other day, and I was like, "Come on, let's play some PUBG." He's like, "Okay." Yeah. All right, Wingman. So we got most of the questions out of the way here. But I know this is going to be something that I could probably only ask you because you might be the only person that ever comes on here that does a podcast as well about video games like we do. So for anyone interested in doing a podcast, what is your recommendation to them? Like, what if like some random person came up to you and they're like, "Hey, Wingman, I want to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast about games. Where do I start? What do I need? What do I do?" I mean, what would be your most valuable advice you can give to somebody in that situation? Well,
number one, you have to really want to do it. I've been on 2 different shows with pretty much the same crew. First one we did for a year and a half. That one left because of issues. We didn't own the podcast, if you will. We do own the domain now because that company folded, quote company, if you will. And that was Xbox Podcast, and I did that with Brun and another guy named Kyle. But before we got brought on, we were with this other guy, and he was a flake. He never even made an episode. And we got Brun, and he was stable, and he's lasted. I mean, he's still here. But through all the time that even like we've had a lot of people say, "Hey, I want to write for your website. I want to do game reviews. I want to be part of the community. I want to do this." And you're like, okay, and you go through all this stuff and tell them here's the format you need to use, and here, have at it. And they'll post 1 or 2 things, and then it's like I'm constantly going through doing like autocorrection. Man, you guys can't even spell right. It's like run it through a spell check. And then and then they quit. It's just like there's no interest, and it's like, why is there no interest? You wanted this. And I see that with a lot of people with podcasting. It's not just sit down and, all right, I walked in, I sat down, I'm just going to podcast for 5 hours. It's a lot of work beforehand and behind and afterwards. We've gone through years of getting burned out. I mean, we've all retired and then come back because we hit that point where you just get burned out. You get tired. Mm-hmm. You've got to really want to do it. And then secondly, you got to be patient. You're not going to have 100,000 listeners or viewers in a week. We've been doing this for 10 years and don't have 100,000 viewers. So, yeah. And most of our stuff's audio. We get very few people that watch us on Twitch. Mm-hmm. But it's just, you got to just do it because you enjoy it. We're not doing it for money because we don't make any money off this. The stuff that we have out there pays for our hosting fees that we got to pay to host the show, yeah, and all that. It has bought our equipment, and then everything else goes back into buying Elite controllers and giving away game passes and gift cards and stuff. So it all goes back to the community. So we ain't making any money. Otherwise, Brun would probably stay here if we were making money. Like I said, we've been doing this for like 10 years. So you can't. And I see this. I watch a lot of people on Twitter or on Mixer. I'll sit at work and I have my Surface up while I'm working, and I'll watch all these mixer streams, and they're constantly answering people's questions. How do I get this? How do I improve this? How do I? And they all basically say the same thing. You got to be consistent. You just got to be patient, you know. And that's what it takes to do podcasts. You've got to have a true desire and excitement to come and do this every week, because it will get old. There's days I didn't want to do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely moments, you know, where you just feel tired of it, or you feel like you want to just, I don't know, quit. You know, you're just like, I don't know, is this worth it? Is this worth my time? You know, you think about it and you're like, I don't know, you know, and I know there's plenty of people that go through that quite often. And, you know, we've been through it on our show. You know, there was a moment in our time and the Horrible Gamers where we just stopped.
Yeah.
I was like, we're done, guys. That's it. You know, and then I couldn't leave.
Well, you guys do such long shows that I'm surprised you can keep people together for as long as you guys have had. You know, that's the thing. And what my advice to you guys would be, because you got enough people, you know, and if you have 3 or more, it works great. If someone's just getting burned out, let them go away. Take the month off. Take a month off. Get away from podcasting. They'll still listen to your show.
Yeah.
And you know what? After they've had that month, they'll probably be itching like crazy to get back. If they're not, then they should know, okay, I'm just done. And then you can look for someone else to replace them. But you got to take breaks, because it wears you out. Even just doing it once a week, all through the week, you got to be looking for stories and planning. What are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? And then you're like, what can we do to improve the show or advance the show, get the word out? You know, do I got to be on Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram and blah, 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 blah. It's like, I don't even do that crap. And now Brun's leaving, and I'm like, oh, man, that means I got to take over the Twitter, and I hate Twitter.
Yeah, same here.
So I'm sitting there thinking, I got to do that now, and I suppose I have to.
We have enough people where we split it all up. You know, I know that I'm very grateful for my host, because they pick up a lot of the work. I pretty much, at this point, I just kind of show up and kind of just run the things, you know, just kind of just run through it. But a lot of the work, you know, is done behind the scenes, like you said, and a lot of the sacrifices are being made by my co-host. Like, you know, Gunny runs the Twitter accounts, you know, and Ryan, he runs a lot of things, you know, not just, you know, the show, you know, he's not just on the show. He does the editing of the show, hours of editing, you know, like he, you know, pretty much at this point he has it down, he says, you know, to like where he could do it pretty quickly. But I know that by the time we're done recording, like at 11:30 at night or whatever time we're done, it's like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. for him, or some kind of ridiculous time. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. And I always tell him, like, just go to bed, man, go to bed. And he's like, no, I'll edit the show right now and I'll have it up in the morning or something. I'm like, you're crazy, you know, but he deserves a lot of credit, because he does a whole lot for the show. You know, and Eric, you know, he's still in our chat. He's still kind of part of the show, but not really. He's not really there all the time. And I feel like for him, it was too long. Like you said, you know, like we would get on the show and record for 4 hours straight, and he'd be like, I'm tired. I'll go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, don't go to bed yet. Stay up 10 more minutes.
Yeah, you got to have a very understanding spouse, significant other, whatever, kids, you know, to be able to do this. Thankfully, my wife is, you know, I think she gets annoyed by my Xbox addiction, my gaming addiction, because I'm constantly buying games. But, you know, I think, you know, she's on the same time. She's real cool about it. She's like, well, he's not out chasing women and drinking booze and bar hopping. And, you know, I'm not out doing more expensive and worse hobbies, and I'm home. I'm right here. She needs me. You know, so
awesome. Yeah. Real quick, I have a question for you, Eric. Another question about your podcast. I know that Brun is leaving soon, and I just kind of want to get the inside scoop. Do you plan on replacing Brun, or you just plan to go ahead forward with the 2 hosts, you and Rob?
Well, based on a recent poll, we've decided to replace him with Moobot.
Oh, wow.
Who's become very popular.
Muba.
Rob and I talked about it, and we're going to just go forward with the two of us because,
Awesome.
again, it has not. We have not had a lot of success finding people that can remain dedicated. Like, people are excited to come on and be a guest, and hey, I was on a podcast, but to find someone that. And you always find people that are like, yeah, I'll do it. I bet you we get a bunch of people that would say they would do it.
If you did a post on your group and you said, hey, we need a host, comment on here if you want to be on it, you'd probably have 100 responses, but only 5 of those people would be serious.
Yeah. Who's the ones that are serious? Who's really, truly going to show up? Because everybody's like, oh, I can do it. But no, really, seriously, you have to be on every week, same time. I'm going to throw Rob under the bus. Rob's always getting on a minute or two afterwards. It drives me nuts. I'm like, Rob, get on 5 minutes before we start so you're ready to go. I'm like, so we started doing the whole countdown thing, right at 7 o'clock my time, boom, that timer goes. Yeah. And that's why usually we're drawing him in because he wasn't there for us to set the scene before we started the thing. But it's like we're trying to force him to show up on time, Yeah. It's like, come on, because you have to be consistent too. Mm-hmm. If you want people to show up, they have to know. We've had problems in the past, and we've, knock on wood, seems like we've gotten rid of some of the problems, but it does happen. It's technology. Sometimes you're trying to kick things off, and you start your show, and all of a sudden everyone's like, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
People are on your Twitch going, we don't hear you at all. And you're like, crap, so it's like 7:30 before you're starting, or 8 o'clock, and it's like, but we can't. That's understandable. We can't have, I'm running late, or I'm not, let's start 30 minutes late. Well, no, because people are expecting you, and when you don't show up at a regular time, then they're going to drop off.
Yeah.
So if you want to build an audience, you've got to be consistent, and if we take a week off, we usually will only take a holiday weekend off. Even when now, when there's nothing to talk about really, we still get together and find something to talk about. We took Christmas off because it was Christmas Eve this year.
Yeah.
But we're not going to record on Christmas Eve. We didn't record on New Year's Eve, but we did record on New Year's Day. So we only missed 1 week. So I think throughout a year, we only maybe have missed 2 shows the whole year where there was no episode that weekend. And then if someone else is out, you've got 2 people to still do the show. So, it's just got to have that consistency. Dedication.
Yeah. Well, there you go, people. No replacement for Brun coming.
Come on. Could we really replace him anyways?
Yeah,
that would be really hard to do. He's going to be missed.
Definitely.
I'm going to miss him a lot. And I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I was rather ill this last weekend. I wanted to get on really bad. I had stuff I wanted to talk about. I just was not feeling so well. So I just sat here and relaxed and actually listened to them. But, he's going to be missed. He's been around podcasting with Rob and I for a long time.
10 years, he said.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's ridiculous. That's an insane amount of time to podcast.
Yeah.
So with all that time podcasting, Wingman, what would you say is the greatest achievement this Xbox Live has had? What is the greatest accomplishment? We'll leave the achievement for you for gaming. But what's the greatest accomplishment that this Xbox Live has had, that you feel personally has had?
What I get the most, not pride, but, or I don't know what, and I'm not proud, type of boastful thing, but what really makes me smile and what I'm most happy about with TXL is we have listeners from all over the world. And that blows my mind. When we started this, we were nobody, we're still nobodies. We're nobody. We're just 3 guys that work jobs, we all have families and kids and work our tails off, and, and we like people. Gaming. Yeah, we're normal people. Yeah. We're nobody. We're not anything special. We're not, we're not Major Nelsons and Phil Spencers of the world. And, but we have people that listen to us from Australia, from Europe, from, all parts of the country, or I'm sorry, all parts of the world. And And not only that, I mean, we can see that people are listening to our shows from all, where the downloads are coming from in different countries, which is pretty cool. There's some countries I'd never imagined someone would download us. Like, how's that even possible? But, there's military deployed out to different places and are pulling our show and stuff like that. And that's awesome. But to be able to not only know you're going out, so those other people from other countries are listening, people from other countries are responding back, sending voicemails, sending questions. We've got the two brothers in Australia who have sent us stuff like, hey, we were at we went to PAX Australia or whatever. Or they went to some game thing and they gave us they send in this 3-5 minute audio of what they saw and what they excited about, and they're sending it to our show, and they're involved, and it's just it's just amazing to me that the three of us have been able to reach out and talk to other people in the world and build this community. And I've been in other communities too. And and it's not that it's our, TXL is our community or anything. It's not that I'm partial to it, but I've been extremely amazed how well behaved our community has been through all these years. In all the years we've had a community, there's been very few instances where we've had to boot someone. It does happen on occasion, but it's been very few. We have a very civil group that gets along, and we play together online, and that's I think what I'm most proud of with TXL. It's just the amount of people I've been able to meet, and the quality of people. Jesus, also, I said this, I think, once before. Oh, I know I did. I met you in person. I never knew you. I mean, you and I, and now we have met in person. And hopefully again here in a week and a half, I'm going to show you how to play Drop Mix. And it was just, there's always that I don't know, I'm always worried about meeting people, but I've met Brun in person. Rob is my high school best friend from high school. So Rob and I have known each other forever. But I met Brun and his family, and Brun and his family, they're friends. I mean, that is a friendship now. Kyle, I've met Kyle, who was the original with me on Xbox Podcast. I've met him in person. He now comes up to PAX. We tried to hook up when he was here in August or September for PAX Prime, but he didn't have the time. But we're gonna schedule it next year. He's actually, when he orders his tickets, he's getting an extra one. I said, even if I can't go, I'll pay you back for your ticket. But I'm planning to go to PAX Prime with him this next year. But I've met some people in person who have just been amazing people too. And I was really impressed with you. I still think you're playing a persona on HGP. I still commit to that because you're too nice of a guy in real person.
Oh, man.
Saying, this is not the Jesus that I know. I'm going to hashtag not my Jesus. Your next stuff.
Yeah.
It's been awesome, man.
Yeah, that's a great feeling, right? When you see the downloads and you see the world. Sometimes I'm amazed that, like you said, I'm a normal person as well. I work in a machine shop. I work every day. I wake up at 5 a.m, go to work at 6, get off at 3:30, come home. I'm a normal person, and we get downloads from everywhere, all around the world as well, and that's crazy. I mean, yeah. But what is your greatest achievement in video games? What is the greatest achievement that you feel you've got in a video game, Wingman? What is the one accomplishment in any video game, anytime, since back to the Atari, that you've accomplished?
My favorite, most memorable achievement is completing the 1 hour defend in Gra 2. Ghost Recon Advanced. No, yeah, Gra 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. I just remember, I don't know how many times we get our group together and we're playing it, and the first time you do it, you're lasting 15 minutes. You're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do an hour?
Yeah.
We keep dying within 15 minutes. And then the first time we got close, we got to 57 minutes and died.
Damn.
And it was just no, at 3 minutes left. But we played it again, and I think it was the very next time or the one more after that we actually did achieve and defend and held off and stayed alive in that game for a solid hour. It was just because it was one of those things, like it was TXL community people that we came together and we were playing that, and it was just we worked as a team, and it's like, you know, we'd have people back, you know, and it was like you had to be careful with your ammo. You didn't have unlimited ammo. So at one point, everybody was basically out of ammo, and we're kind of together, and we're kind of, you know, trying to spread in a formation to defend, and it, you know, we're trying to, like, okay, we're down, like we got hardly any ammo, so we're like, okay, let some of these guys get a little closer so that we can run out and get their guns with their ammo, and we're constantly, like, you know, doing that, like, bunny hop, like, okay, you go this time, and then you go, and then other people are trying to cover them while they're out there, and man, it was just intense. It was awesome. It was just so much fun. That's like the one that I always remember. I'll never forget that achievement. And I'll say, in a very recent one was with you last night.
Yeah.
I hopped in your party and you're like, hey, you want to play PUBG? And I'm like, okay. I mean, I was going to play Gems of War, but let's go play PUBG. And I'm a noob. I don't know what I'm doing. You and Lowland were like, every time you guys would bail out and I jump at the same time, and all of a sudden I'm like, why am I nowhere near you guys? So I've got to try to run to you all the time, and then I get caught up, and you guys have already looted the area, and I'm looking around, and I look back up, and you guys are well over the next hill, and I'm like, you guys always leave your wingman behind. Because I'm like, what is this? That's a level 1 helmet. Do I have a helmet? I don't even know if I have a helmet on. How do I find my inventory? Oh, no, that's the map. How do okay, turn the map off. Oh, here's the inventory. Where's the helmet? Oh, I have a level 2. Okay, go back out. What was I looking at? Oh, that's a level 1. Okay, so that's not good. So we don't need that. What's next to it? I'm like, that's the way. I am so slow in that game. But last night, again, this will be one of the, this chalks up there with one of the most amazing gaming moments I've ever had. So we get down. It was just you, me, and, well, we had 2 other guys.
Yeah.
So there was 2, and I haven't killed a single person. But I'm all geared up, man. I've got scopes, I've got guns, I got grenades, I've got painkillers out the wazoo, and I haven't killed a single person. I think I've only seen one person, and I think you killed him. So you're just like, crawl down here, come over by me, and I remember going, I don't even know where you're at. I can't even see you. And you're like, I'm right next to you. I'm just to your left. I'm looking around, and all I see is grass, you know, because we're prone.
Yeah.
So finally, I just kind of keep moving. And you're like, yeah, come over here. And then all of a sudden, your name pops up. I'm like, oh, you're over there. And it was just that slow crawl. We were crawling for so long last night. And then I'm like, then you were on one side of the rock. And I'm like, okay, I'll get on this other side, and I'll pretend that I'm going to do something. And then I know you killed somebody at that point, and it was just down to one other guy. And that circle just kept going. My heart was beating like crazy. I'm like, I know I'm going to screw this up. You know, I was so worried. I'm like, I'm going to screw it up. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm doing exactly what you're telling me to do, and I'm not going to get up. I'm staying prone no matter what. And then finally, I think it was Lowland who was still watching and listening to us. He's like, okay, Wing, stand up. And I'm like, what? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what? Stand up? No, I'm supposed to stay down, man. If I stand up, I'm going to get killed. And then I was thinking, wait a minute, that's a good idea, because then he'll probably pop up and shoot me, and then Jesus will take him out, and we'll win.
Yeah.
So I stand up, and I start running around, and dude, I'm freaking. I'm like, oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And I'm like, I'm not getting shot at. This doesn't make any sense. And then I see a guy or like a body on the ground. So then I'm like, boom, 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 boom. And I just like freaked out. Oh my gosh, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, it's already dead, you know? I reload. Then I'm standing there. I'm like, well, now I should be dead. Like, whoever is out there looking for us knows I'm standing up in this very small circle. I stood there, shot a dead body. Okay. How can this guy not have plugged me already? So then you and I pass each other, and we're kind of walking around the little, you know, the wall. Yeah. And all of a sudden I see another body like sticking out of a bush. And I'm like, and I looked at it, and I'm just standing there kind of looking at it like, is that another dead body? And then I'm like, pop, pop. And then I saw like the hit markers, pop, 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 boom, chicken dinner. And I was like, oh my gosh, I finally, I got a kill, 1 kill in the game, but it was the one that mattered. and that was my first chicken dinner. And I was like, it's like now I want to keep playing. I quit then. I said, no, I'm going out on a high note tonight. But all day I'm like, I want to go play some PUBG.
Yeah, PUBG, man. that was
so
intense.
exciting, and so now I get it. Like people talk about it. My heart was pounding. It was just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a heart attack here in my
Oh, that's amazing! Yes, we got a chicken chicken dinner last night, and it was cool. It was cool, man. I was happy to get that. Even I was excited. I was like, hell yeah, man! Like I was just happy. That moment makes you feel so good, Like you're like, oh yes, yeah. Because, some of those, for a minute there, I thought the odds were stacked against us. We heard all those gunshots going off, and we're like, oh, Wingman, come to the left. We're going to just go around everybody, avoid the whole conflict over there. Don't even go over there.
Dude, there was so much gunfire going down. Dude, I was like, I got to go potty, man.
We're not. I legitimately didn't think we were even going to get close to it, and I was like, no, someone's going to come up behind us right now from the coast or something and shoot us in the back while we're laying here. And no, nobody. Everybody was, stuck in those buildings over there just shooting each other, and I was like, oh, well, we got a good spot here.
Waltzed in, man. Basically, outside of the one guy you shot at while you were by the rock, we went into the very end circle unopposed.
Yeah. When no one was there, everybody was on the other side killing each other.
Yeah, we saw guys. You and Lolan fought a few guys on the way in, and I remember freaking out when I was by myself and I'm in a building, and I told you guys, I hear a car, man. I'm like almost wanting to cry. I'm by myself. There's a car outside my building. I'm dead, and I just got a red dot sight. This isn't fair.
Yeah, amazing, man. So real quick, one of the few last questions here, Wingman, we have for you today on the show. What are some of your passions besides video games? What else do you enjoy besides gaming? I mean, I know this is gaming theme, but maybe some people would want to know, what else do you do? What does the Wingman do outside of gaming?
I really enjoy traveling to new places. I like... I'm a big guy, but so this will sound obvious, but I really enjoy going and trying new places to eat, like something I've never been to, trying something new. I enjoy that. I like shooting. I've got several handguns and rifles, and I just love going out and shooting. I sort of like camping. I enjoy doing that with my family, my kids. My kids love tent camping. I like it, except for the fact I can never sleep. For some reason, I just cannot sleep when I'm in a tent. No matter. I've tried sleeping on the ground. I've tried sleeping on air mattresses. I've tried sleeping on pads. It just doesn't work. I don't know. But I do like being outdoors and camping, and I think I need to invest in a camper trailer so that I can haul that behind my truck, and maybe I can sleep in that thing. But I would love to have a motorhome or something like that and just go out for a week or something in the woods and just live. Sit by a campfire. And man, I love just sitting by a campfire and just chilling and talking, relaxing, spending time with the kids and the wife. And so we do a lot of day trips and go see things we haven't seen. We've only been here in Washington for 2 years now, or has it been 2? No, it's been 1, right? Yeah.
Maybe.
We're going on 2. I don't even know.
You lost track.
I think we just hit 2 years. So, man, has it been 2 years? That seems weird. But so there's a lot of stuff we haven't done and seen. So we like to just go and do stuff like that. And that's just a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Taking road.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's see here. A couple more questions. So, second to last question is, will you be getting a Nintendo Switch anytime soon? I mean, that's the hotness. I feel like it's something that's kind of hot right now. People want it, and people are getting it, but I feel like some people that should be getting it are not getting it. And I don't know why. I don't like you, I think would enjoy it. But I don't know, at the same time, maybe you wouldn't because you like Xbox so much. But do you plan on getting one?
It's been on my mind lately. Um, I I saw one back in November. Someone I was visiting my parents, and one of their friends' kids had come in the door, um, and he had it with him, and he was showing off some of the other younger kids that were there with this big get together. And I was like, I just turned. I was like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I didn't because I didn't want to want one, right? I'm like, I just because at that point I saw this like days before the Xbox One X came out, and I'm like, mine is going to be delivered in a few days, so I don't, I can't. I don't have no money and all that. But I've been thinking about it the last couple of days, and it's like I kind of want one, but I think I'd only really use it when I traveled. I might sit there. I can see myself playing some games while I'm on the plane instead of just sitting watching movies like I normally do. That would be fun for when I travel to, or I'm in a hotel, and sometimes I pack my Xbox depending on if I'm flying or not. If I'm just driving, I'll usually take my Xbox with me. It would be nice to have something that you can game on the move like that. And but the thing is right now there's really only two games I think I would want. I want that Mario Rabbids game. I've watched people play it on Twitch. It looks like fun. I think I would really like that, or on Mixer, sorry. But I think that would be fun to play because I like XCOM, but it looks to me like it's an easier XCOM, because XCOM is like you get so far and then it's all of a sudden your whole team's wiped out, you're dead, start over. Like, man, I've been playing for 16 hours and I got to start all over. That's what I hate about XCOM. It's like it's such a great game, but can't they just make a version, like an easy version, and it actually be like you can complete the whole game without your entire squad getting wiped out in one match, 8 hours in? So you have to start over. That's the frustrating part of that game. So I think I want to play that, and I haven't seen any Mario, what is it, Odyssey? Mm-hmm. I think, is that the new one?
Yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey. I've heard a lot of great things about that, and I think that would be one I would really enjoy as well. I don't really have any interest in Zelda, so, but so it's just Mario and the Rabbids game too that I would kind of want. I have interest. So really, with only two games, and just plunking down, I bought an Xbox One S a year ago, an Xbox One X this past November.
Yeah.
A big giant 65-inch 4K TV, which wasn't one of the $300 ones either.
Yeah.
So I kind of. Probably better not go ask the wife for $300 more for another gaming system.
Not just 300. You're gonna want the gamepad. You're gonna want games. So about 500.
You gotta buy the games. Yeah, exactly. And then I got to put a case to protect it in because I'm gonna travel with it, and so I don't think I'd dock it. I don't think I'd ever play it on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm gonna sit down and play on my TV, I'm gonna play Xbox. I can't see sitting down and playing 780p game, if that. I just can't. But I can see myself like, I'm gonna wait for the kids after school. Maybe I'll show up an hour early to pick them up, and I'll just sit and play. I got here early. I'll pull the Switch out.
For some reason, you'll be getting everywhere you go to super early.
Yeah. Let's go, kids. The church is at 9 o'clock. But Dad, it's 5 a.m. Well, I want to make sure we get a parking spot.
There you go.
I'll be sleeping for 3 hours. I'll be playing Switch.
Oh, man. Awesome, Wingman. And one of my last questions here. I got one more. I keep thinking of questions to ask you.
That's fine.
But this is a question that I feel like I'm going to ask everybody that's going to be on this spotlight. Why do you play video games? Like, just why do you play video games?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. It's a really good question because, man, I have raged out sometimes, and my wife is like, I remember once not too long ago throwing a 360 controller. I mean, literally throwing it across the room. I threw it so hard I broke it, And I've only done that once. I've only broken a controller once, but I've thrown a lot of controllers. There's times I'm raging and you're so angry, yet I won't stop playing. It's like, why do you keep doing it? It's supposed to be fun, but 95% of the time I'm not raging. And it's fun. It's like I come home from work, we do whatever, family time, dinner, but then like it used to be like before we had kids, my wife would like sit down and she'd want to watch her CSI or something or Law and Order. And I'm like, I don't want to watch that. I have no interest in it. Okay, I'll go down and play games, and it's like it's just, okay, that's my TV,
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes if I'm stressed or lately it's been really hard. My wife has been sick, bedridden sick since Christmas Eve.
Wow.
And today is the 12th of January. So I have basically been the single parent for 3 weeks now running people back and forth. I had 4 basketball games this week. Now I'm like so tired. I was so glad the weekend was here. I had a game every night. I was taking someone to a ball game.
Wow.
To my daughter and then my youngest son both play basketball, and they were every night was one game every night. So I was like, oh, this is terrible. But it's just like I'm wore out, and so at the end of the night, it's just like I just need to chill. I need to do something that just takes my mind off all the crap that I had to do today because I had to go for 16 hours straight. I just need a few minutes to unwind. I think that's why Gems of War has been such a huge thing for me lately. I found it, and it's a very relaxing game. I can just sit there and play, and it doesn't frustrate me or when I can't complete it because completing it's just a match 3 game. But it's nice to just have the ability to just kind of step away. Also, I've noticed too, these games where you get a chance to pick whether you're a male or female character, a lot of times I don't know if you noticed in PUBG, I actually had a female character.
Yeah.
On the PC version, I had a male character. And on the Xbox one, I picked a female character. But I think it's kind of like sometimes I like to do the female characters just to like again kind of separate that it's not me, that it's
a game.
You're in a different. You're kind of separating from your life. You're just kind of like getting into that world in a different way. I did that with Ghost Recon Wildlands. My main game, I had a guy. And then on, which one was it? I think it was Falling, what was it? Ghost Recon Wildlands. Fallen Ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fallen Ghosts, the DLC. You had to pick a whole new agent. Like, you couldn't. Like it was a whole different storyline. You play a different person, and that one I actually did a female. Doesn't really make a difference. But I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I just think it's nice to just have a change. You're not all the guy, But I think what I look forward to in video games going forward is, I think it would be really cool. Like if you're experiencing a game as, like for myself, I'm a white male. So what's it like to play a game as maybe an Asian female or a black female or an Asian man or a black man or a Hispanic male or female or something? It'll be nice when developers, I think, can make video games to where the role that we play would make the game different. Like right now in Wildlands, if you play as a male or female, it doesn't matter. It's just a character on the screen. The game is identical no matter what you play, no matter what race, what sex you are in the game. I think it'd be neat to really push, like, so when you play as someone outside of your own, race and sex, to really kind of get an understanding or feel like there's something different. I think that will be really cool, and I think that's something that's going to come. I think it's going to be something that's going to have to expand, as just putting in a token character, but the game plays exactly the same no matter who you are. I think that's going to eventually get like, okay, let's move it. We need to move on to the next thing, and then that would be, how do we make the gamer feel like choosing that character is going to alter their gameplay or alter the ending, or if you go in as this type of person and you go back and, because wouldn't it be neat to play a game like Wildlands, and maybe that's a hard game to say, you probably have to be more story-driven game. But if you played it as a, like you went in like yourself, a Hispanic male, and you played this game, and then when it was done, it said you want to replay, and then you went through as, say, an Asian female, and the game was different, or it made you feel different, or you had different interactions with people because of who you are.
Yeah.
I think that would be really neat, really amazing to, but again, I don't know if that's really possible, because then I feel like then it's all stepping into stereotyping.
Yeah, and then people would get mad.
And I think that, I don't know if you can accurately do that, but I think it would be neat to be able to feel like, oh, this character actually, like you really get to feel for the character.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just you playing it, that you're actually this character. I think that would be neat.
Yeah. Okay. So
that was a long answer. I'm sorry.
So you play video games to kind of just experience something different, right? Like just to kind of sometimes escape realism. I mean, I know
yeah, it's fun to get in and just blast things, blow stuff up and kill people. I would never do that in real life.
No.
Absolutely would never do that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice just to kind of just go do that. Like Crackdown. I so badly want Crackdown 3 to come out this year. I love the first two games. The second one, the story sucked, but the jump boots, and there was abilities in that game that were better. Like when you went back and played the first Crackdown, you're like, oh, I can't. Where's my jump boots? Where's my flight suit or my wingsuit? Man, I need that,
Yeah.
Even though the story in the first game was so much better. But the game was just like blowing stuff up, and like Infamous on PlayStation, just all the special powers and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. That's what I like in a game. I'm not even really a story type of person. I really don't care about the story. Never have. Just let me get in, blow stuff up, have a great time. I loved Sunset Overdrive. Oh my gosh, that game was amazing and so funny.
Wild, yeah.
Oh gosh, that's a game every gamer needs to play.
That game is fun. It's just the only way I could explain that game is just fun, just fun.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And that story was great.
Yeah.
The comedy in there was so funny. The whole LARPing part and just all the different things. It's like, oh my goodness, that's so true. They're kind of joking about us, and you just got to be able to laugh at yourself. And
yeah,
it's so good. That game is so good. They need to make us. But I just want to have fun, do stuff in a game that you can't normally do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like to play games.
Awesome.
And I'll tell you this, I will never play Job Simulator.
Oh.
Who in the hell wants to play that?
Office Simulator, Job Simulator.
Office Simulator, Job Simulator. Yeah, that VR game. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Like, go to work. Who wants that?
Yeah,
but I guess it's so popular,
kids want
they're
that.
doing Vacation Simulator now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, simulators for
I
everything.
got to file this PPS report. No.
Oh man. Okay. Last question, Wingman, and this is for you. So, I kind of wanted to say, why do you listen to Horrible Gamers? But I mean, it's kind of obvious why. We kind of spawned off of TXL, and it kind of, I don't know. But okay, we'll split this into two questions. Why do you listen to Horrible Gamers? And the second question would be, what is your favorite moment that you ever heard in the Horrible Gamers podcast? So what was like a thing that you just remember that stuck with you?
Wow. Okay, so why do I listen?
Mm-hmm.
So originally, the original HGP crew were all people that I knew from the TXL community. And I was excited to know that, again, I think that's actually another kind of neat, I think, achievement from TXL, is that TXL spawned Achievement Hounds. I think we also spawned in a big way, I'm not taking responsibility, not me, but I think TXL was the driving force for you guys, for HGP, and then also ultimately for Sean to start up Horribly Awkward. So it's like 3 other podcasts that I'm aware of have kind of spawned because of TXL. Maybe not wholly, but in part. And I think that's really cool. But I listened to you guys because it's like you guys were new, you were coming, and I wanted to hear what you guys had to say. And you guys are, you're so different from our show. We're family friendly, and you guys are very much not family friendly. So it's sometimes you guys get way out there where I'm like, even it's a little too much for me. It's like, oh. And you guys were picking out Christmas gifts on some site recently. I was like, okay, fast forward. I don't want to hear this. You guys go a little too far over the edge for me, but but there was a time I stopped listening. I will say that. There was a time just because they were so long. Yeah. The shows were so long.
I understand.
But I have come back because you guys are so entertaining. You guys crack me up. I know I came at you guys recently about, you guys don't know what you're talking about, and I did that whole thing in your group, and I think ticked a few of your people off, not realizing that most of it, I was teasing, and but it was like one of those things. Like by the time I got to my office, I was like, "What? What did you? That's 8 things you said in my 20-minute drive that you're wrong." And, it gets me heated up. And I get on, and I'll come in here. Sometimes you've had me on your show, and I'm like, Ryan, you don't know what you're doing. Jesus, you don't know what you're saying. Honey, go back to sleep. It's just like,
oh man,
you guys get people going. You get people excited, and I think that's honestly, I think that's something lacking on our show. Sometimes I feel like, okay, we're here for another show. We will have 1 hour of news and questions, and then we'll see you next week. We try to make it exciting, but I think our personalities, the three of us, are just kind of, if we don't have something to rant about, like me is ranting. That's what she knows me. When I get on a rant, then it's like, oh, now it's entertaining. You guys just never disappoint. You guys are always just going off on all these different things, and it's fun. So
thank you.
Yeah, that's why I love the show.
Awesome. As far as your favorite moment in Horrible Gamers, what is that? What do you think is your favorite moment of the show that you ever listened to?
Wow. I don't know if I have a favorite moment.
Or most memorable.
There was some. I think it was in your Facebook group recently. Someone said something about that I should replace somebody on your show. Someone said something about me, and I can't remember what it was. And I was like, "Hey, that's cool. How did I even get brought up?" But no, there's so many different things that I have enjoyed. I don't think I can pinpoint anything
Just
specific.
one. Okay.
Well, you know what? One thing I really do like about your guys' show, dude, how in the heck do you get so many community questions? I'm like begging people, right? Voicemail or send us an email, and it's like we have to give something away to get people to write in. And then it's usually like, okay, we're going to give you a $60 gift card, and we'll get like 2 emails. Like, you can't write a 30-second email to chance to win $60.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
People are listening. I know they are.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you do that? Oh, I forgot.
I forgot. Yeah, like you guys gave away PUBG the other day, and like one person called in or something. I was like, what? One person called in?
Well, this will be an easy one. We randomly selected this person from the whole group of 1. Congratulations.
Oh man.
No, it's cool. Like, and like I said, I think I said when I was on there a couple weeks ago, if anybody in your community that if they do listen to our show, they are welcome to send us questions. I love it when people send in voicemails and questions and email, comments. They don't even have to ask anything. Just to be like, hey guys, I didn't agree with this. I mean, we get that. Hey, you guys, I didn't agree with what you said. We had a really long one recently where the guy had written in and he was like, well, I was a developer, or I am, and costs are high and all this. Where'd you get your facts and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, it was great.
Yeah.
It was love that this guy responded back to something we talked about. And we got the opportunity to either clear the air, make a correction, or say we appreciate your comment, but I still stick by what I said. It just was like it was so nice to have, that kind of conversation. So that's one of my favorite things about you guys and your show, I think, is that you have so much participation from your community. And I think that's really, really cool. I envy you guys on that. I wish we had that. I don't know why we don't. Maybe you guys are paying people.
We're paying people. Yeah,
maybe Gunny created all these other accounts and is just sending questions.
Gunny. We have Gunny making fake Facebook profiles and sending us questions. That's the trick.
Trying to boost his Twitter numbers or something.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, we tend to try to engage the community, and this is kind of why I'm doing this extra show that you're on tonight, because I want the community to know the gamers that they're gaming with, and this show specifically, this one that I'm doing right now, the Community Spotlight, is going to be open to the entire community, and that's not me like bullshitting people. This is me being honest with the entire community right now. It's open to you, regardless of who you are. Doesn't matter to me if you're a podcaster, if you're a streamer, if you're a famous developer, whatever, you are if you're a gamer and you're part of the Horrible Gamers group or community, come on, and even if you're not part of the group, but you listen to the show and you're just on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network or Steam or whatever, and you want to be on the podcast with me, asking you questions like this, feel free to email us, feedback@horriblegamers.com. Guys, with that being said, this is the end.
Can I make a real quick request?
What's your request?
You need to have Brian Tulp Jr. on your show, and you need to let the community know in advance that he's going to be on the show, and for them to send in a bajillion questions that he has to answer.
Yeah, he's the one that, he'll give you questions.
Turn the tide on him.
He'll give you questions. And the questions, I don't know how he comes up with these questions. I don't know if he's just walking through the forest or something, coming up with these questions, but he does it somehow.
Dude, I'll go out and do a Google search, random questions to ask people, and I will send you a list of 100, and say, here's my list. And everybody else in your group does it. He'll be here like 8 hours just answering questions.
Just answering questions. So, yeah, I mean, this is open to everybody, guys. And for the community, if you're listening to this, I want you to give me questions that you want us to ask the community members. I mean, obviously this is the first show, so I had to come up with all the questions today and topics to discuss. But thankfully, Wingman has, he has experience doing a podcast, so he's able to talk, without me asking much. So you did most of the work tonight, Wingman. I appreciate it. I thank you for coming on. You can find Wingman. Where can we find you, Wingman?
You can find me on Xbox Live, Wingman709. You can also find me on this Xbox Live podcast. We are on the iTunes and the podcast links out there. Whatever you're using, you can probably find us there. That's where I'm at.
Awesome. And you, of course, can find me. You know where to find me, people. Just go find me. Join the Facebook group, Horrible Gamers Podcast Community. Listen to the regular show, Horrible Gamers Podcast, which we do still record on Saturdays. But we won't be live any longer until maybe E3 shows or Game of the Year, or maybe we'll come back in a different format or different platform, such as Mixer and or Twitch. But yeah, with that being said, guys, peace out, Brussels sprouts, and I'll see you all on the next Horrible Gamers. Bye, guys.
Chicken dinner.
Yeah, right. Get PUBG to sue me or something.
That's what I'm titling our show this week. Dude, I'm like, ever since we did that last night, it's like I want to go play it now.
Yeah, that game is so addicting, man. Like it's
and no one else can. You have the ability to sneak up. Like that guy did not see us last night.
Yeah.
He was facing away, even though I was standing up, shooting at another dead body to draw his fire. He never, I don't know what he was doing. He probably was a new guy too, like me, that had no idea what was going on. I just kept walking around like, where is this guy? And then I saw another body in a bush, and I'm like, I thought, well, is that a dead one or is that alive? I just started shooting at it, and it was him. So I'm like, oh, yes.
Yeah, that happened to me.
I don't know what to do. We'll wing it. We've been doing this long enough. We'll handle it.
Yeah. Something.
Got this.
I don't even know what to name this. So I'm just going to just go with it. I don't know. I'll figure out a name later for it, I guess.
You could call it each show like HGP Community Spotlight Dash and then the gamer tag of a person.
That's a good one. There we go. Community
That way it's always, everybody will know what this is. It's almost like a second show, which it is.
All right, Wingman?
No, we're not doing this live video or anything.
No, we're not. No, we're done with live shows for a while.
We're doing audio, right?
For the time being, we're done with live shows.
Okay.
All right, Wingman.